going to go through chapter 7. We're going to look at what it meant for them, what it means for us, and what it might mean for you and I. So message for Ahaz, it switches here from the poems and from the prophetic utterances, from the declarations, and it switches right now. So chapter 7, when Ahaz, son of Jotham and grandson of Isaiah, so tricky that Isaiah and Isaiah, anyway, was king of Judah, King Rezin of Syria and Pekah of Remaliah, son of Remaliah, the king of Israel, set out to attack Jerusalem. So Syria and Israel to attack Jerusalem. However, they were unable to carry out their plan. The news had come to the royal court of Judah, Syria is allied with Israel against us. So the hearts of the king and his people trembled with fear like trees shaking in a storm. Then the Lord said to Isaiah, take your son Shear-Jashub and go out to meet King Ahaz. You'll find him at the end of the aqueduct that feeds water into the upper pool near the road leading to the field where cloth is washed. Tell him to stop worrying. Tell him he doesn't need to fear the fierce anger of those two burned out embers, King Rezin of Syria and Pekah, son of Remaliah. Yes, the kings of Syria and Israel are plotting against him, saying, we will attack Judah and capture it for ourselves. Then we'll install the son of Tabeel as Judah's king. But this is what the sovereign Lord says. This invasion will never happen. It will never take place. For Syria is no stronger than its capital, Damascus. And Damascus is no stronger than its king, Rezin. As for Israel, within 65 years it will be crushed and completely destroyed. Israel is no stronger than its capital, Samaria, and Samaria is no stronger than its king, Pekah, son of Remaliah. Unless your faith is firm, I cannot make you stand firm. Later, the Lord sent this message to King Ahaz. Ask the Lord your God for a sign of confirmation, Ahaz. Make it as difficult as you want, as high as heaven or as deep as the place of the dead. But the king refused. No, he said, I will not test the Lord like that. Then Isaiah said, listen well, you royal family of David. Isn't it enough to exhaust human patience? Must you exhaust the patience of my God as well? All right then, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the virgin will conceive a child. So just imagine this scene. They're at the place of the washing. Isaiah turns, looks at a woman and says, look, points to her, the virgin will conceive a child. She'll give birth to a son and we'll call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. By the time the child is old enough to choose what is right and reject what is wrong, he will be eating yogurt and honey. For before the child is that old, the lands of the two kings you fear so much will be deserted. Then the Lord will bring things on you, your nation and your family, unlike anything since Israel broke away from Judah. He'll bring the king of Assyria upon you. In that day, the king will whistle for the army of southern Egypt and for the army of Assyria. They will swarm around you like flies and bees. They will come in vast hordes and settle in the fertile areas and also in the desolate valleys, caves and thorny places. In that day, the Lord will hire a razor from beyond the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria, and use it to shave off everything, your land, your crops and your people. In that day, a farmer will be fortunate to have a cow and 2 sheep or goats left. Nevertheless, there will be enough milk for everyone because so few people will be left in the land. They will eat their fill of yogurt and honey. In that day, the lush vineyards, now worth 1,000 pieces of silver, will become patches of briars and thorns. The entire land will become a vast expanse of briars and thorns, a hunting ground overrun by wildlife. No one will go to the fertile hillsides where the gardens once grew, for briars and thorns will cover them. Cattle, sheep and goats will graze there. Here we have another chapter of, a lot of judgment in here. And so let's have a look at it. What did it mean to them? The king and his people are scared because they've got 2 nations that are allied against him. And so they're like, oh, this seems scary. But they don't look to God. They don't have this firm place of faith in God. And God's like, well, unless your faith is firm, how am I supposed to make you stand firm? And what he says, like, you don't even need to worry. Syria's on its way out. Israel, within 65 years, they're going to be captured. And within 15 years, they're a province of Assyria and they're no longer a nation. So it's totally happened. It's like, well, since you won't do what I ask you to do, King Ahaz, I'm going to raise up nations against you. I'll raise up Egypt and Assyria. And Assyria will be like bees and Egypt will be like flies. So Assyria is going to be even stronger than Egypt against you, and you're going to have to put up with that. And it's going to decimate the land. This idea of the razor, when people were taken slaves, they would shave their heads. And so it's a very clear prediction of an exile that's going to take place, that they will be, dominated, but there's another word. Anyway, yeah, Assyria will be 100% over them. So it's going to be bad. So what do we need to take from this? When we hear of things coming against us, when we watch the news and we get fearful because that's what they're wanting, because that keeps us watching, our need is to hold fast to the Lord. Our need is to not look to, okay, well, let me scroll through the feed and find out what's going to happen next, and when I wake up I'll check the updates. No, our first thought should be, God, you've got us through this, and no matter what happens, you've got us. You have us in the palm of your hand. Even if it means the worst, you've got us. And then maybe personally for me, and I don't know what it might be for you, but it says there, unless your faith is firm, I cannot make you stand firm. We need to give God something to work with here. And so I trust in God. How about you?